Hi everybody, it's me. Um, Sorry I've been away from here. Had a little problem. I had to sit down and go through my head and figure out what I was doing in my life. Um, and I know what I have to do now. And then, unfortunately, I got food poisoning, and it happened at around 10 o'clock at night, Sunday night, last Sunday. And it lasted, of course, into Monday. Uh, and this is the worst case I ever had. It just knocked me out. I was weak for 2 days. The whole next day, Monday, I was so dehydrated that even though I was sipping on ginger ale, I had to sip it slowly. I could not keep anything down. And after I started finally with the help of the ginger ale and nausea medicine, I was able to start taking bigger sips. I didn't pee until probably 10 o'clock that night. Monday, all day long, I didn't pee because there was nothing in me. And I lost 6 pounds in that day. In a 24-hour period, I had lost 6 pounds. Seems like it's impossible, but I did. Between diarrhea and throwing up, that's what happened. What do you want? I'm trying to tell a story. So, why is your head wet? So that knocked me out. Seriously, like I said, I think Thursday, I finally started feeling better, was able to go get some groceries, go pay my bills, clean up a little bit because I hadn't cleaned, and do something with my hair, which wasn't much. It takes a lot to straighten this. My hair is so thick. So anyway, here I am. That's what happens. I'm sorry. I will try to be back here more often. So anyway, I have a story for you, and it's it's one of those I can't explain it type things. One of those type that I don't know if people might say, yeah, no, that wasn't God. You're imagining things or something. Okay, so I lived by myself in an apartment. This is the first time I moved out on my own ever, just me, myself, and I. And it's on a very busy street, Main Street. Goes through, I don't know how many cities this street goes through. And sitting on my computer, and I just happen to look out the window, and I see this little pink thing, a little toddler, 2 years old, walking down the street. And I'm waiting to see her parents, and I don't see her parents. And I'm thinking, man, why are these parents letting that little toddler walk by herself on a busy street like this? I mean, she could dart in front of a car fast. You know how kids are, right? And it's a busy street, and I'm seeing all these cars go by, and I'm like, oh my God. So I get up, and I hate to look because I could just picture her running and the parents not catching her in time. And I get up and I look down, and I don't see anybody on either side, nowhere. So I hurry up, I get up, I move my chair away from my front door of the apartment because I never use that. I move the chair, unlock, I go up, I run up the steps, I get out there, she's gone. I step out, I go down my sidewalk that leads to the city sidewalk, and I'm looking, I don't see her. I even go down this way, look down the street, figure maybe she went down the street. Nothing, nowhere. Now, I'm standing there, I'm like, where the fuck did she go? I know I saw her. So I go back up, I go back inside my apartment, I shut the door, I go back in, I go look out the window, and in front and to the right, to my right a little bit, and out by the street, about 2 feet away from the street, is a telephone pole. And I see something pink go like this. So I bust ass out, run down to the sidewalk, and I slow my pace when I get close to her because I don't want to freak her out and have her run away from me and go in the street. So I get her, and I I grab her quick, I pick her up, and I stand there frozen because she is scared. And I don't want her to freak out and fight me. And I'm trying to back up to the sidewalk. Now she's all bundled up because it is winter, but it was a nice winter day. It might have been about 45 or something. No snow. And I'm looking around and I see nothing. And then keep in mind, at this point, I realize now I hear traffic, a lot of traffic, like normal. Keep that in mind for later. And so I walk to the corner and I look down the street to see if maybe people are outside, and she wandered up the street. Nobody. I look, stand in front of my apartment building, and I'm kind of waving, hoping somebody's looking out the window and will see that I am holding their child. Remembering who lives in my building, it was only a 6-unit. There was nobody. The only people that had children, I knew them, and this was not their child. And I'm like panicking. What am I going to do with this child? So I'm looking across the street, hoping somebody maybe saw it too and could tell me something. These cars are zooming past me like they always do on this busy street. And I start walking into my building, and I think, no, I can't do that. My phone's inside there, and I have to get in there and call the police. So I think, okay, I'm going to go walk down this way a little bit and walk around my building, because if you walk down there, there's a driveway that goes into the back. And there's also a driveway that goes this way alongside the building. On the side, it goes back to the back parking lot. If you walk down the street a little bit, there's another driveway that goes along the back. So on the side, there is a field. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go this way and look. Maybe somebody's out back. So I go out back, and I happen to see a guy, like, looking around. He sees me, and he walks over, mind you. He walks over, and he says, "There you are." And he takes her, and he says, "Thank you." I said, "Yeah, she was over there by the telephone pole." And he looks, he says, "Thank you," and walks away. He wasn't panicked. He wasn't freaking out. He wasn't, I expected more of a thank you or more of a, oh my God type reaction. Because, mind you, I looked out the window, waited to see the parents of this little girl while I was in my head saying, where are her parents? Why are her parents so far behind her? And ran over to move the chair from the front door, unlocked the 3 locks, stepped outside, went and looked for her, didn't see her. Remember, I even walked down to the one side and then walked back down to my apartment, went back in, shut the door, looked out the window, saw her, had to run back up, all that shit, okay? And then hold her and be looking around for the parents. That was a long time to not realize your daughter is not with you. And when he did realize she was gone, okay, I would have panicked because it is a very busy main street. Okay, now, the fact that, just knowing that there's a little field next to our apartment after the driveway. Okay, so they were out there playing with his older son, maybe 4 or 5, and this little toddler happened to, now there's 2 parents. There was a woman there too. Okay, so both of them never noticed that this little girl wandered away. So she had to go up around the bushes, come all the way down the driveway, and walk on the sidewalk, and then disappear somewhere, which is when I couldn't find her. And then, reappear. I grabbed her, and that whole time she was out there, out front with me while I was looking for the parents, and then they noticed she was gone. Okay. And they never, I didn't see the mom after the father was the one that came and got her. Didn't act excited. Had not even, if she would have noticed that, or he would have noticed that she was missing, even then I would have been panicked that some lady was out in the front on the main street holding my daughter. I would have been panicked. I would have been like, oh my God, I didn't even know she was gone, or something. Just the fact that my daughter was not next to me and some lady is out front holding her would have panicked me. I would have been ashamed. Okay? That's my opinion. You would have been there to know how long it was. It might have only been, maybe a total of 8 to 10 minutes. That's still a long time to not have your eyes on a 2-year-old on a busy street. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, here's the weird part. This street, there's a store directly across the street. I could never jaywalk unless it was like 7 o'clock in the morning or maybe 10:30 at night. And then it was chancy. I always had to walk a street over and use the crosswalk because this street is non-stop traffic. Okay, when I look back at it, and this was right afterwards, I went to grab that little girl. Like I said, when I walked out the door and I saw her, all I could see, I just realized there were no cars. It was quiet. I remember it being so quiet. I picked her up and walked away, and it was then that I noticed there was traffic. I thought it over in my head so many times. There was no traffic. There were no cars. There was no traffic sound. What happened to the traffic when I went to get that little girl? Where were all the cars? And where was she when I went outside to look for her? Where were the cars? Where was she? I'm telling you, I went over, and this is right after it happened. I went over it because I thought, oh my God, 2, 3, 4 steps from her, she would have been out in that street, she would have got killed. And then I remembered, wait a minute, there was no traffic. Because I'm weird about standing by a curb, waiting to cross anywhere, even a crosswalk. I freak out because I always think someone's going to jump the curb and hit me. I always freak out about that shit. And I realized there was no traffic. None. Not even on the other side. There was nothing. How do you explain that? I mean, that night, I couldn't even sleep. I remember being up and looking out my bedroom window, thinking, how could there, look at the traffic at night. I'm looking out there and I'm seeing all these cars going. Yeah, it was a lot less traffic, but it was like a car would go by and then another one would come. And for a toddler to step out, she would have been hit. And it was like, I don't know what time I went to bed early then. It was probably about 11:30 at night when I'm thinking this. I'm just thinking, look, it's slow right now. People are at home, ready to go to bed, getting ready to go to work the next day, going to sleep so they can go to work the next day. And yet, there's still a lot of traffic. It was a weekend. And yet, I don't remember one single car. There was no noise. It was silent. I remember hearing my heartbeat. I remember that because my heart was racing. How do you explain that there were, at that point when I saw her by the telephone pole, there were no cars. But when I saw her walking down the street, there was traffic as usual. But when I ran out there to get her, there was no cars, no noise, everything was quiet. And then when I remembered when I was standing on the sidewalk and I looked across the street to see if anybody was standing out there, it was traffic as usual. Okay? The thing, it was almost to me like I really seriously thought God stopped or slowed everything down so that little girl would not get hurt. That's the only thing I could think of. And then where was she? She was bundled up good. She was kind of, you know how you have those snowsuits on? The little baby things, you're all big and stuff. And I don't see how when I went out there and walked and looked, I couldn't see her at all. It was like she disappeared. I can't explain that part. But what really bothers me is the father's reaction. He walked up to me. And he didn't hurry or anything. He just took his time, to thank me. That was it. Thank me. I would have expected, oh my God, I didn't even know she went away. I didn't even know she was missing. Oh my God, there she is. Oh my God, thank you so much. Nothing from him. Nothing at all. And then, I didn't even recognize these people. I don't know if they must have been from another apartment unit behind us. And they were just out playing in the field. But to not realize, two parents not realizing your daughter was gone for almost close to 10 minutes. Maybe 8 to 10 minutes. And then when you see that your daughter's standing with a woman on the city sidewalk in a busy street, would have panicked me. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fashion, maybe I'm just a worrywart. But I would have definitely been out of my mind. Not just walk up it's not like I found his glove. That's weird. Okay, that was my story. It's just something that sticks with me. The fact that just knowing that when I went out there and grabbed that little girl, there was no traffic on a painfully busy street. And when I do my food delivery, I take that street all the time. And I hate it, especially coming off a side street, because if you have to, it's bad enough going right, but when you have to go left and it's just a stop sign, I always go right, find the nearest driveway or parking lot, and turn around to do what I should have gone left, because you never get out of it. Well, that's my story. Hope you find it interesting. I have to write things down. As soon as I think of something that's interesting, I'm going to write it down so I can tell it, because I think about it late at night when I can't sleep, and I'm like, oh my God, that's a good story, I should tell it. And then I forget about it until maybe 2-3 weeks later. So that's it. I hope you found it interesting. You guys take it easy. I hope you're all doing good, and I will see you again. Thank you. Bye.